As the player of the season, welcome Lee Harper to the building. Long time, Lee.
Yes, long time, mate.
And some great memories of your time with Kettering, especially in those goalkeeping. You number 7 in the all-time list of goalkeepers. Your clean sheet ratio is the best since 1979, beating Shoemaker, of course, which I know is something that you quite like doing.
That's quite. I'll be on him about that one.
But you played every game in 2008-9, 61 games. Voted Player of the Year. There are many games that we can talk about. That of all the games you played for Kettering, which one stands out as being your classic memory?
I think obviously Leeds. I suppose Leeds was real fond memories. You know, obviously having the manager's job as well, player manager's job, and
because you were carrying a back injury as well, weren't you, at that time?
Well, I think we played Luton Town, didn't we, away. Because that was the start of all my issues really with my back. I knew I had a back condition, but I felt something go in my hamstring, and I didn't think I was going to be able to play that game at Luton Town, and we won 1-0 that night, and it was a good game. But I managed to get myself through it with the help of an injection and other bits and pieces. So, but that's one of my fond memories. But I mean, there was a lot of good games really. Notts County, Lincoln, Hartlepool was another good one, and I know it was all FA Cup games, but I'm sure there was a few in the league as well.
Mark Cooper brought you to the club, didn't he? And your first game against Vauxhall Motors, the highest win by a debut goalkeeper, 6-0, and went on to beat them 6-0 away as well. I mean, phenomenal, really, record. I mean, obviously had the pedigree, played against Kettering for Arsenal in that friendly many years ago.
Yeah, and I was trying to remember that if that was the first year I was at Arsenal, '94, because I remember the team. I think John Jensen played, and Paul Merson. I think Paul Merson even played in that game. There was a few players in there that played, but I do remember that, and I remember the Vauxhall Motors game, the first game, because I'm sure in that game, didn't the opposition keeper walk off the pitch? And it was like my shock from Football League into non-league, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know, what's...
The thing is, though, he walked off, I think, at 5-0, and the guy that didn't add enough, the guy that came on did a better job. And he was an outfield player.
He was an outfield player, I remember that, yeah, so...
You were number 7 in the all-time charts with 139 games. Your last game at Gateshead, 0-0.
Is that goalkeeping appearances?
Goalkeeping appearances,
okay. Right.
So number 7, 112 in the league, which phenomenal, really. If you hadn't got the injury, I'm sure you would have passed Shoemaker. So there was a great photo, there wasn't a review. Shuey, Ted Smethurst, and Gordon Livesey at Rockingham Road taken once. 4 of the all-time classic goalkeepers. If you're watching this for Kettering Town, fantastic appearances among them. But so what are you up to now, then, Lee?
I've got some goalkeeping schools. I've had a couple of offers to get back into the game when I left Kettering. One was Blackpool, wanted me to become their first team goalkeeper coach, and do the academy in one job, and I just felt it was too much with my outside interests. I've got my scaffolding business that's going really well, got my goalkeeping schools that are doing really well, and I've got like 6 or 7 young kids into football clubs, Tottenham, MK Dons, Brentford, to name a few, in the last 2 years, which is excellent, because for me I'm like giving something back to the younger generation, and ideally I want to get back in the game. But
as a manager or just as a coach?
I don't know. I just feel that my managerial opportunity here wasn't really
stifled in the end, wasn't it?
Well, it was very difficult. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the land lies with how the club feels about certain people, but obviously my taking of him is not very great.
Most people's taken the same opinion, Lee. To be honest, but I remember that game at Leeds, and we can't go too much into for legal reasons.
I mean that
bus journey home when I sat with John Dean was one of the most fraught I can remember after a certain decision was made, and I know at that time you even thought about walking from the club because of the way that whole episode was actually delivered, wasn't it?
I agonised for many days, because for me he was someone who knew the game inside out, and so to have him on board, you know, I picked the team, and we worked on what we was going to do, and we was going to try and keep this real solid shape, because we knew what we was up against at Ellen Road, and then after that I sort of said to Dixie, listen, I've got to concentrate on my game. Whatever decisions you feel's right for the team, I'm going to back you 100%. This man's much more experienced than me in terms of
Aston Villa, Norwich for 2, isn't it?
Exactly right. And he was crying. That man was crying after that game. And there's things like that are not things that you want to remember. Because it tarnished a performance that for 105 minutes,
I mean,
the guys gave absolutely
10
everything.
minutes away from going to Old Trafford.
Yeah.
And if that had happened, who knows how that would have, historically, would have affected Kettering Town. You know, that money alone would have made the club survive. And
well, I always had the belief, because of my record over the years with penalties, that let's just get this to penalties. I was so up for it as well. You know, what an achievement that would have been to have got the club to Old Trafford, just to get the revenue into the football club as well. You know,
it seems from that game, Lee, that things for Kettering Town have gone down the slide up until now. We're on our way back up, hopefully now.
Yeah.
A lot different. I mean, you've seen Kettering at its highest peak in the conference, and we're now at our lowest peak, let's say league-wise, stature-wise, and facilities, and what you're seeing out today will be a lot different to what you're used to seeing Kettering Town. So it'd be quite interesting to hear your opinion after the game, either in here or in the clubhouse later, to see what you think. I know the fans are dying to meet you again as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really chuffed to be back, because obviously it's been too long. My daughter plays as well now every Saturday, and once the wife's got hold of you for a few Saturdays, she don't really want to let you back out the door. You know what it's like.
I could have gone shopping today. This game being cancelled. Believe me, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I'm so pleased to be back. I mean, it is a little bit upsetting, if I'm honest, because you know, the atmosphere that you had at Rockingham Road, and although it was one of them old grounds that, you know, one of them old football grounds, it's still there, and I've seen obviously pictures of the way it's lapsed, and you know, the fans were great with me, and so it does hurt you, because although the club is on its way back up, and that's fantastic, and I want to see them get back up to where they was, but you know, it's not quite the same. But what is the same is the fans that are still there and still coming, and people like yourself, and support the cause, and that's really good.
And for the first time, Lee, in quite a few years, we have a forward-thinking chairman who is actually behind the club, behind the fans, and actually going to work for the club rather than take money out and try and destroy it, which has happened for the last few chairmen, no names mentioned. But you know, it's been a crying shame to see a club of Kettering's statue go down as much as it did. But you know, we're actually fighting our way up, and hopefully we'll be able to win promotion this season and get back into the Southern Premier, and then who knows?
Fingers crossed. Yeah, hopefully I'm a lucky charm.
Yes, let's hope that Lee comes back. And one thing I've just got to ask you here: the game against Fulham. Did you enjoy that game?
No,
you didn't. Why not?
I'm trying to think back now. Which one of the goals? Where I think it was the third goal, isn't it? Yeah, yeah.
Still hankers, does it? Still hankers.
They all do, mate. They all do. All this, the little errors you make, you can be remembered. This is the life of a goalkeeper, innit? You make mistakes, and you're the criminal, and you make great saves and penalty saves, and you're the hero. And you know, I think ultimately I never got any stick really from anyone from that game, probably because of expectation. But it was always my own biggest self-critic.
Premiership team against a conference team, you know, it's
and we did really well, didn't we? So
made me laugh,
a shame from my point of view, but yeah.
Of course, made me laugh early when they brought on something like £15 million worth of substitutes, and we brought on JP Marner. No disrespect, JP, but it just shows the gulf and difference when they can bring on Murphy and some Icelandic striker, and we bring on, you know, JP, who, you know, is a great player in his own way, but that's the difference, isn't it? And it paid off, because when they came on, that's when it all changed, didn't it?
It is, because they, you know, I think it was who was the boy, the striker at QPR now? My mind's gone blank.
Priest Park Rangers, don't know about Priest Park Rangers.
And I should know, because I've been there a few times this year. Who?
Andy Johnson?
No.
The young lad?
No, the big tall guy.
Charlie Austin?
No. The guy who was at Fulham, who scored the fourth goal, shot left foot, put it in the bottom corner. Zamora.
Bobby Zamora.
Gone back. Bobby Zamora. So, yeah, they had that sort of quality, and I'm trying to think about what was the first goal? He hit it on the volley, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
And Hunt.
Because they 2-0 in about 20 minutes, weren't they?
That strike was unreal. But to come back and, you know, showed the character, and you know, they're memories that I'll never forget.
Well, the heroics at Hartlepool, for instance, that you pulled off there. What a game that was. I mean, again, underdogs and all that way up to Hartlepool. A great night in Darlington, which we won't talk about.
No. Yeah.
But it was a great atmosphere, wasn't it? And when Asher Cody got that goal, it summed it all up. It was a fantastic team performance.
I think that game as well, we was under the cost quite a bit, especially first half.
Well, you were pulling off save after save, weren't you?
Yeah, and I think, you know, like, I think Notts County, we, at points I felt like we weren't under the cost. We were the better team at times. Lincoln, we were the better team at times. But the Hartlepool game, we were really up and under it, weren't we? And Leeds away, we were up and under it for spells of possession and stuff like that.
I also remember that the way that the Gelding end gave you applause for your performance.
Fantastic.
I mean, we got beat, and you'd have thought we'd have been playing AC Milan the way that they treated us.
It was fantastic.
But they gave you some applause, deservedly so, because you were phenomenal that night.
It was, and the Leeds fans, you know, and I was at the Leeds end obviously for second half extra time, and they applauded. And then the amount of emails that I got from Leeds supporters, you know,
that's
saying,
nice though, isn't it? Nice touch.
And they're the things that I remember. You know, these fans and Northampton fans and QPR fans that you chanting your name, and they're the things you miss. You do miss that rapport you have with the fans. I remember the game. I'm probably holding you up here, but the game we drove up to when I got done for speeding. Up the, you probably don't remember. No, I don't know if it was Fleetwood, but I got stopped for speeding, and then when I arrived, all the Kettering fans were singing, instead of Lee Harper, they were singing speed Harper. So, yeah, good memories, mate. Really good. So.
Well, it's great to see you, Lee.
Yeah, and you.
The atmosphere is building out there. I can hear the drum being beat by the Aylesbury fans. So if you're listening in Aylesbury, you probably can hear it in the background. No doubt you'll hear it on commentary. Lee, I know, has got a lot of more work to do while he's here. Hope you enjoy your day. Let's hope it's a
Looking forward to it,
and thank you so much for coming to see us.
Very welcome.
Thank you, Lee. Great to see you again.
Cheers.
Well, we'll finish off with Ed before we have to clamber up the gantry to do the commentary. I may even spout a few words myself, maybe not, but we will see. And how far are we for kick-off then now?
Just over 5 minutes.
5 minutes.